Assalamualaikum. Let's proceed with topic 5, public finance. And for your information, this topic is very simple. Just reading, fully reading. Silap, ada sedikit calculation. Okay, tapi not that difficult. Very light topic. Ada 22 slide saja, tapi macam biasalah saya 22 slide beri panjang juga kan. Hopefully you can able to understand this. Alright, so public finance, bila sebut public ni, it's about the government. Okay, public finance is a traditional name for the government activity involving the revenue and the expenditure of the government. So it refers to the way government collects its revenue, its income ataupun revenue, and how it spend it, the expenditure of the government. So public finance ada dua, cara government dapatkan pendapatan dan cara dia berbelanja. Okay, so first of all kita tengok the sources of government revenue. So there are three sources of government's revenue, which are the tax revenue, non-tax revenue, and then revenue. Okay, kita tengok the first one, tax revenue. Tax revenue are the major and the most important sources of revenue of the government. That's why you need to pay tax, because if you avoid paying tax, the government won't have money. As I mentioned in the class, if the government don't have money, the government won't be able to provide public facility, won't be able to do development for the country, and us living in a country that the government is very poor, it is very unlikely for us to be very happy because of lacking of public facility, meaning that everything is private. Kalau semua swasta, meaning that you need to pay for everything. Tak ada benda yang public, it is hard for you. So semua swasta, IPTA tak ada, IPTS je ada, meaning that everything is expensive. Okay, so pay your taxes. The first main objective, there are objectives of government revenue. Collecting tax is, it is the source of government's income. Government need to have income in order to develop the country. Second, to reduce the income inequality between the rich and the poor. Okay, yang lagi tak, objektif kita yang reduce income inequality, we will tax the rich, and redistribution effect, the tax will go back to the poor because the government is able to provide public facility, so they can everything yang awam-awam tu, sekolah awam and so on, so the poor can go to the schools and sustain the living and improve their lifestyle. Itu yang kita nak. Reduce the consumption of harmful goods, for example cigarettes and alcohol. Yang ni lah, kalau you tengok rokok kan tak setinggi kan, alkohol pun sebab tu harga mahal, tapi orang tetap beli. Tujuan utama kerajaan kenapa ditinggikan cukai untuk barang-barang tersebut, sebab dia tahu barang-barang tersebut is very harmful for our health, so dia nak reduce the consumption, tapi still manusia kan degil, so that's normal lah. And protect local industry. So this is lebih kepada tax on imported goods, tax kepada barangan import. For example, kereta-kereta import, for example macam Honda semua tu kan, kalau luar negara dia lagi murah, masuk dalam Malaysia ni 100,000 lebih. Sebab apa? Sebab cukai, tax on imported good, kita panggil tarif. So kenapa barang-barang luar negara tu dia kenakan cukai dia lagi mahal? Sebab kita nak bagi kereta buatan tempatan, which is Proton boleh survive. Kalau tak, semua orang nak beli kereta Honda. Okay, next is to conservation of scarce resources. With tax, the producer, sebab tax in the first place, kalau indirect tax lah, dikenakan kepada producer, the seller, orang yang menghasilkan barangan. So bila producer dikenakan cukai, dia akan rasa terbebankan cost of production yang meningkat, so dia akan kurangkanlah sedikit penghasilan barangan, especially goods yang yang producer menghasilkan terlampau banyak yang untuk profit oriented semata-mata, dan bila menghasilkan terlampau banyak tanpa kawalan, dia akan menyebabkan scarce resources kita. Scarce ni resource kita yang limited tu, at the end of the day dia akan habis. For example macam petroleum lah, petroleum in Malaysia ni antara yang the highest quality. Bila kita jual, kita akan dapat income yang tinggi, sebab kita boleh jual dengan high price. So bila kita asyik jual, harvest, at the end of the day it will be finished. So bila habis petroleum inside our country, apa yang berlaku pada our country? We need to buy from outside. When we buy from outside, it will be very expensive, it will be very costly for our country. So there are two types of tax, which is direct tax and indirect taxes. So direct taxes, macam for example income tax. For example saya kan ada pendapatan, so cukai ke atas pendapatan saya kena bayar. So sebab tu kita menamakan dia sebagai direct. Orang tu kena bayar sendiri apa yang dikenakan pada dia. For example companies tax, so Maxis dikenakan cukai oleh kerajaan, so dia kena bayar, dia tak boleh suruh Selcom bayarkan untuk dia. While another one is indirect tax. So indirect tax ni adalah cukai barangan, goods and services. Dia lebih kepada cukai-cukai yang boleh dipindahkan beban cukai kepada orang lain. In the first place, the government imposed the tax to the seller. Kalau you ingat, you belajar Eco 162, tax is the determinants of supply. Tax akan menyebabkan supply curve shifting inward, sebab tax ni bebanan, because the government is taking our money. The seller is being imposed the tax, but at the end of the day, the seller will shift the burden, pindahkan beban bayar cukai tu towards the buyer dengan cara tingkatkan harga barang. Same goes kalau you go secret recipe, you go to KFC, you nampak dalam slip receipt tu kan, goods and services tax ataupun service tax. So that is the tax yang orang kata indirect tax. The government impose the tax to the KFC, to the secret recipe, but they orang kata shift the burden of paying tax to you as the buyer. So you can avoid paying the tax. Macam mana? Janganlah beli. Kita tak suruh awak beli, tapi because you buy, means that you are willing to pay for the tax. Okay? So let's go for the direct tax. Direct tax are where the burden of paying tax falls on the taxpayer itself, and it cannot be shifted to someone else, It's levies on the person and varies with the status of the taxpayers. For example, income tax, ini yang paling clear lah sekali you nampak. Corporate tax, yang kita belajar chapter 2. Jadi untuk cari DI, jadi untuk cari PI, personal income. Okay, property tax, harta awak yang bayar. Poll tax, inheritance tax, stamp duty. Okay, and let's go for indirect tax. And indirect tax is tax imposed on the producer. Producer is the seller. Okay, but they can shift the burden of paying tax to the consumer. For example, excise tax, sales tax, goods and services tax, service tax, is export duties. Indirect tax may be levied in two ways. Okay, for example, which are specific tax. Dua cara kita boleh levy indirect tax. Pertama, specific tax, maksudnya levy by per unit, satu barang satu cukai. Ini lebih kepada barang-barang yang besar dan nilai dia mahal. For example, car, satu kereta satu cukai, satu rumah satu cukai. Okay. And then another one is ad valorem tax. Ad valorem tax ni levy based on the percentage of the value of the transaction. So lebih kepada barang-barang yang kecil. It will be very tedious kalau kita nak tax per unit untuk barang-barang yang kecil. Contohnya macam pen. Saya sebagai producer of pen, I produce 10 billion pen. So if the government want to tax me on pen, So kalau every single pen satu cukai, it will be forever to finish the recording of the tax. So the best way is, sebab banyak sangat kan, 10 juta pen, dan nilai dia kecil saja, satu pen tu dalam 50 sen. What will the government do? It will opt to ad valorem tax. Meaning that they got the whole value of the 10 million pen, satu nilai dia, 10 juta pen tu bernilai 1 juta ringgit, for example, dan dia kenakan 1 cukai ke atas nilai keseluruhan tu. Iaitu kita panggil based on the percentage of the value of the transaction, ad valorem tax. Okay, next, structure of tax. So structure of tax ni we are talking about the direct tax, lebih kepada income tax. Okay, so there are 3 types of tax structure: progressive tax, proportional tax, regressive tax. The higher the income, the higher will be the tax rate. Itu maksud progressive, membangun. Ia lebih kepada income tax. So lagi tinggi pendapatan kita, lagi tinggilah cukai yang kita kena bayar pada kerajaan. While proportional tax, the higher the income, the tax rate is constant. Meaning that tak kisahlah income awak banyak mana, jumlah yang awak kena bayar pada kerajaan is the same. Gaji 1,000 bayar 2%, gaji 2,000 pun awak bayar 2% juga. You gaji 3,000 pun you bayar 2% juga. So the tax rate is constant whichever income you have. While regressive is the opposite of progressive. The higher the tax rate, the lower will be your tax rate. The higher the income, the lower will be your tax rate. Lagi tinggi pendapatan awak, lagi rendah awak kena bayar. Some people might think this as unfair. Sebab dia kata, orang kaya bayar sikit, orang miskin bayar banyak. Tapi sebenarnya, this type of tax rate, regressive tax, somehow dia sangat membantu dalam inducing individual incentive to be very productive. Bila ada regressive tax rate in the country, people will start to be rich because they are scared to be poor. If they are poor, they have 1,000 income, they need to pay 10% tax rate. But if they have 8,000 income, 8,000 ringgit of income, they only need to pay 2% tax rate. Nampak tak? Kalau income dia 1,000, dia bayar 10%. Tapi kalau income dia 8,000, dia cuma bayar 2%. So dia akan menyebabkan orang berlumba-lumba untuk dapatkan more income so that they need to pay lower tax rate. Itu kelebihan regressive. Okay, so dia nak orang kata promote individual initiative to be rich. Okay, tapi most country opted for progressive tax rate lah, sebab progressive tax rate ni ada redistribution effect yang for income inequality tu. Kita take from the rich, kita redistribute for the poor. Okay, so the example is like this. Okay, we have here a few range of income: 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. Yang kita kata progressive tax rate tu in terms of rate dia ni, rate. Okay, bukan in terms of figure here. It is in terms of the rate. Okay, so bila progressive, meaning that the rate keep increasing. 1,000 dapat 6%. Bila naik dari 2,000, 9%. Naik 3,000 dia 12%. Naik 4,000 dia 15%. Kalau proportional tax rate, the tax rate is constant throughout. Even though the income start rising, the portion of tax rate is the same. While the regressive, it start with increase And when the income start to rise, the tax rate start to decrease. So when we do the calculation, okay, this is what we get. So I have done my calculation here. So you darab je lah 0.06. Be careful sebab this is 6%. Jangan buat 0.6 0.6 60%. Okay, 0.06 times 1,000. So it's equals to 60. Okay, 0.09 times 2,000 equals to 180. 0.12. Ini baru 0.12 bukan 0.012. Okay, so kalau you rasa macam confused lagi nak tukar tu, 12 bagi 100, you akan dapat nombor dia. Okay, 0.15 times 4,000 is 600. Okay, so after I've done the calculation, this is what I got for progressive. This is what I got for proportional. This is what I got for regressive. Okay, so some student, dia salah tengok sebab dia tengok dari segi jumlah total tax tu. So bila you nampak dari segi nilai total tax, you nampak 60, 120, 180, 240. 60, 100, 120, 120. 60, 180, 360, 600. Meaning that the value is increasing. This one is also increasing. This one is also increasing. So your conclusion is everything is progressive. No, it's wrong. Don't look at the total tax. You should look at the tax rate. Tax rate itulah yang menunjukkan proportional ke, regressive ke, progressive. It's not the total tax. Be careful Okay, be extra careful in the exam. So the one that shows the progressive, proportional or regressive is the tax rate, not the total tax. Okay, so in terms of graphical illustration, okay, you write it as tax rate. Jangan tulis total tax, jangan tulis tax saja, tax rate. Okay, in terms of percentage here you to the relationship with income. So for progressive, as income increases, the tax rate also increases. So it has a upward sloping curve. Okay, while proportional, the income increases, the tax rate is constant. So it has a horizontal straight line. Okay, while for regressive, it is a downward sloping curve. Why? Because when the income is 1,000, the tax rate is 6%. But when the income is 2,000, the tax rate decreased to 5%. So the tax rate decrease as income increases. This one, the tax rate increase as income increase. Okay, alright, so this is what you need to have in your explanation. Alright, so in terms of the exercise, I have one there. You may try question 2. Okay, the following table shows the amount of tax paid by individual in different countries at different income level. So this is tax paid. This is not tax rate. So dia ada income level, dia ada tax paid. Income level, tax paid. So dia nak tahu determine the tax structure adopted by each country. So what should you do? You must calculate the tax rate. How to find tax rate? Tax paid, okay, divided by income level times $100. So this is the formula you should use. Then you get the tax rate. Okay, so I'll do this one for you. Okay, so I've done your calculation. So you can see here. So this is the formula that you should use. Tax paid over income level times 100. Okay. Alright. So the first one is for country X, 8,250 over 10,000 times 100. So I got 12.5. And then 1,500 over 1,200 times 100, 12.5% also. And 1,700 over 14,000 times 100 is 12.5% also. So the rate is the same. So this is proportional tax structure. Okay. While for country X, 720 over 8,000 times 100 is 9%. 1,440 over 10,000 times 100 is 14.4%. 2,400 over 12,000 times 100 is 20%. So the rate is increasing. Tax rate, meaning that this is progressive. So very simple. Okay, you may try for question 3. They have two countries there, Australia and New Zealand. Already gave you the box there. Okay, they calculate tax rate for each at every income level. Determine the tax structure adopted by each country. So after you got the tax rate, then you can determine the structure of tax. Don't just look at the tax paid. Okay, you must look at the tax rate, because the tax rate determine the structure. Okay, I think that is the two question about the tax rate. That says, okay, let's go for the non-tax revenue. Non-tax revenue consists of receipt from license, regulation fees, permit, service fees, proceed from sales of goods, interest and returns on investment locally and foreign countries, and also fines. So this is other types of revenue of the governments. Permit, service fee, maksudnya pendapatan kerajaan daripada NT yang kerajaan boleh dapat lah. Health service, education service, yang kita bayar kat hospital tu RM1, yang bayar kat IPTA, semua tu. Petroleum royalty, traffic offences, you bayar denda, saman, semua tu. That is also the non-tax revenue of the government. Kalau Singapore dia ada littering, buang sampah kena denda. Corruption, denda. Rental revenue of the federal territory, sewa tanah kerajaan. Okay, and lastly adalah non-revenue. This is another one yang revenue of the government. Receipt include the all refund of expenditure, interdepartment credit, refunds of overpayment or erroneous payments in previous year, reimbursement, and contribution from the government departments, statutory bodies, and government's overpayment enterprise. So meaning that this is the government-owned enterprise yang cultivate income. So government kan ada juga kan dia punya enterprise itself. Okay, kalau for example budget yang tak habis yang government distribute for the year, yang refund yang tu adalah also kita panggil non-revenue. Okay, so this is among the non-tax revenue and also the non-revenue of the government. So we have finished about the revenue of the government. Look at the government expenditure. After we have collected revenue, where will the government spend the money? So there are two types of government expenditure. The first one is government operating expenditure, and the second one is development expenditure. Ada dua je. Pertama untuk operate, second one adalah untuk develop. Okay, so first one is operating expenditure. It covers expenditure of various government departments to maintain service and administration. Consists of emoluments, pensions, gratuities, debt service, maintenance, repair works, asset acquisition, grants, and transfer, and etc. This is to the for the operating of government's institution. Okay, So while development expenditure, investment with the purpose of improving facility and infrastructure of the country, project that will boost economic growth and strengthen the productivity capacity of the economy. So this is for the development of the country lah. Consists of defense and securities, social service, education, health, housing, economic sectors, agriculture, rural development, trades, industry, transport, general administration for JPA, LHD, and Royal Customs Excise Department, Statistics, and Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and so on. So ada dua lah. Pertama untuk operate government's punya jabatan, kedua untuk develop the country. Okay, and look at the government budget. So you have some sort of hint bila kita belajar chapter 3 hari tu, National Income Equilibrium, budget deficit, budget surplus tu. Okay, it is defined as the estimated income and expenditure for the next fiscal year. Okay, a national budget nama apa budget? Kita nak budget berapa banyak untuk next fiscal year, berapa banyak yang government akan buat. Okay, the national budget state that the sources of revenue and how it's spent. So sebab itulah every end of year akan ada pembentangan belanjawan dalam TV tu kan. So kerajaan akan umumkan berapa banyak dia akan spend untuk sectors ni. Berapa banyak kita akan dapat perbelanjaan, berapa banyak income yang kita akan dapat. Okay, it is represented in the parliament. So there are 3 types of budget policy. Pertama, balanced budget. This is what we dream of. Semua country would like to have this. We have revenue is equals to expenditure. Apa yang kita collect, itulah kita nak belanja. Sepatutnya every country would like to have this. Tapi the truth is every country is here having deficit budget, because all country is spending much more rather than collecting. Sebab kita banyak benda yang kita nak belanja daripada apa yang kita dapat balik. That one is normal. Okay, you can do your homework through your assignment. You can find this information from the chosen country. While surplus budget means that our revenue is more than our expenditure. Kita kumpul banyak duit dan kita belanja sikit, which is very unlikely. Tak ada negara macam tu yang boleh menyimpan. Most of the country in the world is in deficit. Okay, especially Muslim sekarang ni lagilah teruk deficit. We spend much more than what we earn. Okay, so to compare this is one question here. You can see how the question being asked. The following table shows the government spending and tax revenue for a hypothetical economy over a 5 period. All figures are in billion. So kita ada 5 years there, 2001 until 2005. This is the government spending, government expenditure. This is the government revenue, tax revenue. So the first question is, in what years were there the budget deficit and what were the amount? So deficit means that we are spending much more than what we earn. Okay, cuba tengok tahun bila yang kita ada deficit. And that the spending is much more than the revenue. So start 2003, right, until 2005. So you must list down everything. The year is 2003, 2004, 2005. And what were the amount? In 2003 is 25 billion 900 minus 875. 2004 is 50 billion, while 2005 is 75 billion. So this is the amount of the deficit. In what year was the budget surplus and what was the amount? So bila kita ada lebihan, it's 2001. Why? Because our revenue is 825, but we're only spending 800 billion. So the amount is 25 billion of a surplus. Okay? What is the total amount of public debt in the economy over the 5 years period? Okay, so bila dia kata sebut public debt, dia nak tengok hutang negara dalam 5 tahun tersebut. So kita kena tambah semua defisit and kena tolak surplus yang ada tu. So our deficit here 25 campur 50, 75 campur 75. So 150 billion. That one is our deficit. But we have a surplus of 25 billion there. So 150 billion minus 25 billion. This is our deficit. This is our surplus. So our debt is 125 billion. As time goes by, if we are unable to pay the debt will start to accumulate. Dia akan makin banyak. Okay? So this is the answer. Alright? So government policy, I already covered this in topic 6. And then we have the public revenue, public finance in Islam. Okay, I'll sum up everything in one video je. Okay? If you are tired listening to this video, you may pause and you may start after you have resting. Okay? Public finance in Islam, the objective of Islamic economic system is human welfare and justice. Okay, ingat Islamic, kita tak ada untuk pembangunan negara terus, tak ada. Kita, apa yang terpenting mula-mula kita tengok adalah welfare of the human, and we would like to have social justice. In Islam, there are also various policy where the government can manipulate the relevant sources of revenue and spend it for the benefit of the society. Okay, and this is the sources of government's revenue in Islam. Of course, kita ada taxation juga. Ada orang kata, in Islam, taxation is zakat. No, zakat lain, taxation lain. So, taxation is also the major source of revenue in Islamic country. The purpose is to provide basic needs of the society. However, it should not kill the working of the taxpayers. Syaratnya dalam Islam, because it is for the welfare of the society, welfare and the justice of the society, the government can impose tax, tapi dia tak boleh kills the working of the taxpayers. Dia tak boleh terlampau tinggi sampai membebankan sampai taxpayers rasa give up, tak nak dah bekerja, because they are tired, because every time dia bekerja dapat income, they need to pay to the government. Tak ada point, dia kata. Okay, alright. The next one is zakat. Okay, most student dia kata, what is zakat? Zakat fitrah, masa kita nak raya. Tu terlampau kecil skop sangat. Sekarang kita ada banyak jenis zakat. Zakat pendapatan, zakat harta, zakat haiwan ternakan. Kalau you ada certain haiwan ternakan lah, tak adalah you bela seekor tu terus, you bela seekor lembu terus kena zakat kan. Haiwan ternakan tu bukan kucing, bukan Okay, so please do your reading Ustazah situ dah ajar ni. Collected from one full year possession of wealth which reach nisab. Okay, cukup syarat dia baru you kena bayar. Kalau tak cukup syarat, tak perlu. Okay, consists of zakat on cattle, lembu, ataupun any types of livestock yang boleh dikenakan zakat. Gold, merchandise, cash and securities. Ni kalau orang ada terlebih. Okay, macam kalau you ada gold, cicing emas sebentuk yang you pakai hari-hari, yang tak ada je kena zakat. Okay, the rate is 2.5%. Okay, depending on the types of zakat lah. Okay, and the specialties of zakat is the proceed. Okay, apa-apa yang kita dapat daripada zakat is used for the 8 group of recipient only. Dia tak boleh guna sembarangan. Zakat ni, kalau tax is for everybody. To provide public facilities for the people. Okay, kaya miskin semua boleh dimati. Bila kerajaan buat jalan raya, orang kaya pun boleh lalu kat jalan raya tersebut. Tapi for zakat money, it is for the 8 group of recipient only, and mainly to help the poor and needy. Itu sebab dalam Islam dia ada lain selain taxation, ada zakat pula. This is for the 8 group of recipient. So do your googling, do your reading. You're supposed to know what is the 8 group of recipient. Okay, and then we have jizya. Jizya is the annual tax levied on the non-Muslim citizen living in the Islamic state. Okay, non-Muslim men, only men sahaja. Okay, so sekarang ni kalau negara tu betul-betul negara Islam dan ada non-Muslim yang hidup dalam negara dia boleh kenakan jizya. Sebab dia tak bayar zakat ni. Tapi syarat ni men sahaja. Okay, and these men live in the Islamic state. Dan kenapa kita kenakan jizya? Sebab kita live due to the protection provided for their life and property. Okay, but syarat dia only capable non-Muslim men should pay jizya. So kalau dia tak capable, dia handicap ke, dia orang tua ke, dia kanak-kanak ke, walaupun dia man, dia tak perlu bayar walaupun dia non-Muslim. Okay, tapi dia kata if the non-Muslim man contribute to the protection of the country, for example dia jadi askar untuk melindungi negara, okay, there will be no jizya for them. Okay, next is kharaj. Okay, so kharaj is the agricultural land tax owned by non-Muslim. Ni cukai tanah pertanian kepada non-Muslim. Nama dia kharaj. The rate will be based on the crop produce. So Islam kan baik kan? So dia tak sewenang-wenang je letak cukai yang tinggi. Dia bergantung kepada jumlah penghasilan tanah tersebut. Kalau tinggi penghasilan, tinggilah. Okay, and it is 10% of total crops. If the crops are destroyed by natural disaster, for example, ada kemarau ataupun ada banjir, musnah semua tanaman dia, kita tak kenakan kharaj kepada dia. But if the crops are destroyed purposely by the owner must still pay kharaj. For example, non-Muslim man dia dah tahu kalau 10% cukup syarat dia kena bayar kharaj kepada kerajaan Islam. So dia tak nak bagi cukup, dia musnahkan sikit crops dia dengan harapan bila tak cukup dia tak payah bayar lah. Tapi ada orang perasan dia buat macam tu, dia kena bayar juga sebab purposely destroyed by the owner, bukan sebab natural disaster. Next is ush. This is agricultural land tax of the Muslim. Nampak tak? Kalau tadi zakat, jizya. Kalau Muslim kena zakat, non-Muslim kena jizya. Kalau non-Muslim kena kharaj, Muslim kena ush. Untuk agricultural land tax, dia fair and square. Okay, the rate will be 20% of total crop produce if the crop is watered by rainfall. Unfair madam, kenapa 20%? Jadi 10% je. Logiknya, ada ke sekarang ni orang yang bercucuk tanam yang mengairi tanaman dia, tumbuhan dia menggunakan hujan sahaja? Tak ada kan? Semua orang akan menggunakan kaedah pengairan, irrigation. Okay, that's why dia kata on the other hand, if it will be 10% if it uses irrigation. Sebenarnya sama je, 10% je, 10% of the total crops, same like the non-Muslim. Next is wakaf. Wakaf is the religion trust of the of the Muslim lah. It's from the Muslim religion trust, and the proceed kalau wakaf property ni ada proceed, ada penghasilan, will go to the Baitul Mal yang akan takbir dia. Wakaf property be given by the Muslim for the usage of other free of charge. Dia tak perlu bayar. Contohnya, wakafkan bangunan untuk dijadikan pusat tahfiz. Okay? No one can be denied the right to use wakaf property. Wakaf property should not be conquered by certain people only. Supposedly you tahu what does it mean by wakaf. So this is the Islamic revenue juga. Next is amwal al-fadilah, income from the government owned natural resources. So hasil alam semula jadilah arang batu, petroleum. So this is what we call amwal al-fadilah. So you should write more here. Jadi so yang sikit ni kalau you guna dalam exam dah berharap dapat 2 marks, it's very unlikely. So, maksudnya you kena tambah lagi from your googling, from your reading. And then kita ada ushur. Beza jadi ushur. Okay, revenue collected from the proceeds of trade and business activities. Okay, ejaan dia ada yur kat situ. And then last kali kita ada infak fi sabilillah, a voluntary charity given by individual over the above payment of the compulsory zakat. Yang ni banyaklah bulan puasa sekarang ni. Okay, sebab kita percaya Allah punya janji, kalau kita bagi banyak, banyaklah kita akan dapat. Percayalah, kita Muslim, kita orang Islam, kita tahu. Okay, dalam mata kita ada hak orang lain. And then last kali, how the government spend the money. Islamic government spend the money. 3 main expenditure. They are, the first one, 8 main channel for the defense of the country, for the law and order, for public justice, for public administration, for basic needs, for dakwah activity, organic rights, amal ma'ruf nahi munkar, social obligation. The second one is for essential expenditure and in the modern era. Islam dia tak mundur, still dia maju ikut perjalanan zaman. Protection of the environment, research, scientific research, studies of the priority sectors, stabilization of policies. And last kali, expenditure based on the hierarchy needs for daruriyah. Daruriyah is necessity. Okay, hajiyah is complementary. And kamaliyah is luxury. Okay, this is how it being used, the revenue in Islamic way. Okay, so you may do your reading. This is not in the textbook. You can you can do your googling and do your reading. Okay, in terms of the exercise, this one will come out in your in the AC part. Okay, 3 main sources of revenue for Islamic country. 3 tetrad of government budget. Budget surplus, budget deficit, budget balance, right? 3 sources ni, kharaj, tax, zakat. Explanatory yang paling ini kalau 6 marks ni soalan lama ni, sekarang ni semua 10 marks. Discuss main sources of revenue from Islamic country. So 10 marks ni kalau dia tak cakap nak berapa, at least you bagi 5. Okay, 4 sources of government revenue from Islamic perspective. And that is the same thing. Cara tanya je berbeza. Okay, with the aid of a diagram, explain the types of tax structure. Okay, so tax structure yang tadi tu, so bila dia nak diagram, this is what you need to explain. Okay, better you masukkan ni sekali supaya you can show the calculation, because it 10 marks. Because this thing is not enough. If you draw the diagram without the explanation, the diagram does not mean anything. So make sure you know how to explain this, and make sure you write down this one as tax rate. Okay, bukan tax sahaja. Okay, discuss two types of tax. Kalau two types of tax, direct tax dengan indirect tax. Okay, explain using diagram three types of tax structure. Tax structure: progressive, regressive, proportional. Okay, two sources of revenue from Islamic perspective. Choose two. Okay, elaborate three main expenditure made by the Islamic government to improve the welfare of the society. So tadi kita ada three main expenditure kan? So explain a bit of everything. So write short notes on the following. Zakat tu apa? Jizyah tu apa? Differentiate between surplus budget and deficit budget. Okay, I nak tambah sikit. What is surplus budget? Surplus budget means that we are not spending what we earn. In one sense, we have more. Kita lebih kan? Tapi tak bagus. Why? Because underutilization of resources, underutilization of money. So bila kita menyimpan duit, money is not circulated within the economy, nothing will happen to the economy. We wouldn't have economic growth kalau kita ada surplus budget. While kalau ada deficit budget pula, means that we are spending much more than what we earn. So we have debt. So debt ni kalau kita tak bayar, at the end of the day, the country will go bankrupt. So it's bad for the country. So please do your reading so that you can explain this more to earn 4 marks. Explain the main component of Malaysian government's revenue. So kita ada 3 kan? Tax revenue, non-tax revenue, non-revenue. So dia nak explain secara broadly saja. Kalau 5 mark ni soalan lama, tak akan keluar dah ni. Okay. Explain what is the government budget and describe 3 components of government's budget. Okay, sama je. Differentiate between jizyah and kharaj. Okay, make sure you don't tertukar this one. Ramai students tertukar ni jizyah dan kharaj ni. Okay, 3 types of government budget, government revenue and from the conventional perspective. Jangan tertukar pula conventional and Islamic. Alright, so that's it for chapter 5. Thank you for listening.